All right, so we all know the times that we're living in. I don't have to go into it. Everybody knows what's going on with the Epstein files, COVID. Anybody that was born in the 80s, 90s, we've all been a part of a lot of firsts in history. We're the first generation to see our country get attacked, 9/11. We're the first generation to see our whole country get put at a standstill during COVID. We've probably been at war ever since our generation got here. A lot of weird things. Now we've seen a businessman become our president, which is strange to me. And it's strange to me for a lot of reasons. For one, a lot of us subscribe to the belief that the billionaires really run the show. If you don't think that at this point, I don't know what to tell you. This ain't for you. Don't watch. But the ones who do know that this country and furthermore this world worships the dollar bill, which ironically enough we claim to be a Christian nation. Well, in the Bible it says do not worship false idols. And while we get so hung up on witchcraft and the misconception of it or the lie of it, which is devil worship, we never stop to think about how we worship false idols every single day without the red horned man. Money is a false idol, and we worship it so much that we put God on our money. And we think somehow that putting God on our money justifies it. Well, if you look at the Epstein files and the people that are a part of it, they're some of the most wealthy people in the world. Correct. So it's not people like you and I. It's not people like some random guy with a little bit of money. No, it's the ones who are billionaires, multimillionaires, the ones who have access that we don't, the ones who really run the world. If you think about it from a political standpoint, to really live in a free country or to have proper representation, you would assume that the parties wouldn't need financial backing to run for president. You would assume that you would be able to run for president based upon your moral fiber or the policies that you wish to implement and enough people understanding that they're for the greater good. You should have regular representation. Our politicians should represent us, correct? So they should be like us, right? But we know now that none of them are. They're nothing like us. They don't know what it's like to live like us or to be normal or to live a regular life. None of them do. Not a one. So how can they possibly know what's good for us? How can they possibly do things for us? Well, they don't. They do things for their own interests. That's why they stay in power. And I'm not going to, I'm not going to blow up my own head, but because there's a whole lot of us. Yeah, this is about the group. This is about a group. This is about the people of the world, not not the people in power, not the billionaires, me and you, the regular people. This is about us all waking up. So a lot of us back in our school days, when we were taking government and history and maybe psychology if you took some AP courses. A lot of us back then were waking up. A lot of us back then understood that it's all a show. It's all a point of divide. It's all for control, to keep us infighting so we never come together to change the world. We can change the world. We can make this happen. But the question is, are we going to put our differences aside and work together for a change, or are we going to stay the same? You don't have to take it from me, because I didn't just wake up and know things. Now, I do believe that I do get spoken to, because I do. I hear voices, and I'm putting myself out there to say that, because that's another point of divide. That's another tool of control. Do you guys find it ironic that when we were growing up, I'm talking about the same generation and even past generations, it's the same thing. There was no such thing as mental health. All the kids that had problems were considered ADHD, and they just shoved Ritalin down their throats for every single issue. There was no other diagnosis. Nobody was getting treated for depression. Nobody was getting treated for schizophrenia. Nobody was getting treated for dissociative disorders. Nobody was getting treated for identity disorders. Instead, we humiliated those people. We ostracized those people. And this goes further even to autism. Let's get into autism, because I really want to talk about that. How many of us do you think would be on the spectrum from the 80s, the early 90s, and even further back? What are we doing about that? These are the same kids now that are being part of telepathy tapes. These are the same kids that were probably part of the Stargate program back when we were kids. Y'all remember it. I remember it. We were all probably a part of it. What's the significance? People are so quick to discredit future telling. They're so quick to discredit predictions, telepathy, being able to read people's minds, being able to pick up on people's energy, being able to predict the future. And it's been put in a chokehold by doctors who have been brainwashed and indoctrinated to believe the things that they've been told to believe. And I find that funny, because if science was so smart, if science had all the answers, you'd think they would have had them then, right? So why didn't they? It's because it's a point of control. As things change, they have to change. They have to evolve. The ones in control, the ones I'm speaking about, they have to keep up with our changes. That's why these devices that I'm talking to you on exist in the first place. They have to stay ahead of the curve. They have to stay ahead of our awakening. They have to stay ahead of our knowledge. They have to stay ahead of us, because it's a double-edged sword. They give us the gift of knowledge and information, so they have to go to great lengths to keep their control. That's what you're witnessing right now. That's what you're watching unfold right now. And it's really disheartening to see how many fucking people are still stuck. It's disheartening to see how many people still believe in Republican and Democrat. And it blows my mind to see the older generation still subscribe to the lie that they've watched unfold every 4 years, every 8 years. You would think if it was really if there was any rhyme or reason to it, okay, you would think that one side would eventually gain some ground, right? You would think that one side, left or right, would gain some ground. You'd think we'd see a repeat once in a while that we never see. Have you guys noticed? Go back and look for yourselves. Have you guys noticed? They let one have a turn, then the other gets a turn. They let one have a turn, then the other gets a turn. Why? To give you the illusion of choice. And the only way it works is if they serve both masters. So, if they force feed you Republican 2-3 times in a row, that causes a problem. That leaves room to an issue that they can foresee, right? Like an uprising, a rebellion from the other side. So they sue them both. We'll give you a Republican this time, and then next time we'll give you a Democrat. We'll give you a Republican this time, and then next time we'll give you a Democrat. It's all lies, okay? They all work for the same side. There is no two sides. That's just what you think. That's what you've been indoctrinated to believe in. It doesn't exist. There is no two sides. It's us against them. End of fucking story. There is no two sides. Okay? These are career politicians. And I find it funny that as soon as it's all over, they're back to shaking hands. They're back to smiling. They're back to going to the same events together, the same parties together, the same hangouts, the same everything. That doesn't make any sense. But here we are, the regular people, and we turn our backs on our neighbors because of it. We turn our backs on our own blood because of it, right? People get divorced. They split families and destroy children over this lie. So how long are you going to let that go? How long are you people going to keep gripping your ego so tight that you can't just let go and say, I was tricked? It was by design. It doesn't make you stupid because you got tricked. We get tricked all the time. Even the ones who understood long before the masses were still getting tricked, right? We still got to know how to break out. As long as we can't break out, we still get tricked. I still consume nicotine. I still consume caffeine. I'm still being tricked too. But there are certain things that, for the greater good, you can't continue to subscribe to. You can't keep subscribing to this. It's no different than all the people who say the veterans died for our right to vote, right? So the ones who don't vote, they get ostracized even more than being from a different party, right? So I could be Republican, you could be Democrat, or vice versa, right? Let's say you're a Democrat and I'm a Republican. You hate me, right? But you know who you'll hate more is the person that doesn't vote at all. I've never seen people get so angry. They get so angry at the ones who do not vote. Why? The veterans died for my right to protest also. So if I protest the polls and I demand better representation, and until I see it, I will not participate in your circus, that's my right. Who are you to tell me what they died for? Like you can read the minds of every veteran, every man that fought, every woman that went over there and sacrificed for her kids. You have the right to tell me that. We can speak for the veterans now. If you look in the past, peaceful protests, it solved a lot of things. It put a lot of things in place. It don't work no more. They saw it work way too many times. If you don't believe me, watch the president sign the desegregation bill. Watch him. Look at him. Watch his body language. He's disgusted. Yeah. That goes to show you that we do have power. We do have power. But the game's changed. Like I said, every time we evolve, they're already there. They already know. They're already ahead with a plan in place. They didn't get all that money and power and status by staying stupid. And furthermore, once they get all that access, they have carte blanche on whatever they want access to. They don't have to do the work. They'll get somebody to do it for them and give them the footnotes. So they're a dangerous enemy because of the access, the money, and the power they have. That's how they keep the control. But the only way it works is if we stay divided, right? Like race, for example. I've always wondered to myself, why does that matter? Why does that even matter? Why does it matter for me to scribble in the bubble that I'm white before I take a test, before I go and vote, if I did? Why does it matter to get medical treatment that I got to say what race I am on a piece of paper? Well, I'm going to tell you why it matters. And this is history. Don't take it from me. Read for yourself. I don't just say things. Are you familiar with Bacon's Rebellion? If you're not, go look it up. Long, long, long time ago. Pretty sure 1700s maybe. Just jogging my brain. But the significance of it is that's when race was created. That's why you have black and white. That's what started it. A rebellion. A rebellion. And just like I said about the people in power being 10 steps ahead of you, they can't really predict what you're going to do necessarily. I mean, they're more efficient now than they've ever been because of what I'm holding in my hand. Scary, ain't it? But even back then, they were pretty well ahead of the curve most of the time. You think they're going to give you something first before they know all about it? No, they're not. So, or they give you anything by accident. And if they do give you something by accident, it will get cleaned up. Trust. You're watching that happen right now, ain't you? So, Bacon's Rebellion was basically this. Whites and blacks came together and they rebelled. So, the whites that were in power wanted to keep their power. So, they dismantled that by saying, hey, you're different. You're white. You're black. Hey, white people, you can be like us. You see up here in this power box, it's only us up here represented, right? Just us white folks, right? You can be like us. No, you can't. No, you can't. But it worked. So, racism exists strictly because of that. It's brainwashing. It's indoctrination. Now you have a whole generation. In my opinion, you want to know my opinion? People think it's improved. It should have improved, but it hasn't. It's worse. You want to know why? Because of what I'm holding in my hand. Because of what I'm holding in my hand. Now you have men and women hating each other. That's insane. We're so worried about gays and lesbians and all of that. But as straight, whatever you want to claim, I don't claim nothing because, again, it's just labels that keep us divided, that fuel hatred. You seem more suspect than the people that you claim to hate. Because why do you have so much hate and resentment for the opposite sex as a straight man or a straight woman? Why do you work so hard to tear down the opposite sex as a straight man and a straight woman? Well, just look through history. It'll answer it for you because that's part of the indoctrination. It's not to keep us from doing what they want us to do. It's to keep us depressed, angry, emotional, fighting, keep the house divided so we can't raise better kids, so we can't break the cycles that we're trying to break, that we should be able to at this point because we have enough information. We have enough help out there for us. So they distract us. And because we're all addicted to this thing that I'm holding in my hand, and we're all looking for somebody to reassure us about everything that we think and feel, which is just more ego talk, it's another effective program, right? You guys actually buy into it. And I'm not saying you guys that are watching, I'm just saying the masses, okay? They buy into it. And then they participate. I was watching a video the other day and I was talking to my therapist. There's this lady who makes a lot of videos and, she's really beats on that narcissistic box. Narcissists. They never change. They're evil. Burn them all, burn them all, burn them all. Well, you know what you sound like to me? A narcissist. A narcissist. Do you even read? Do you even research? Is this woman even a doctor that we're listening to? Come on now. Andrew Tate. Why he sits up in his castle and tells men how to be men. Come on, man. Get out of here. And again, with the sexuality stick, what is straight about constantly telling other men how to be men? What is with that? That's weird to me. What happened to human being? What happened to love? What happened to critical thinking? And to get back to the political point, we are so prideful as a country, right? United States of America, right? Left, right. It's not united. It's not united. The name is even a contradiction. If we were United States of America, we wouldn't have political parties. Well, that's our right to choose. What does political parties have to do with your right to choose? If you put 10 people up on a stage and you ran those same debates, and by process elimination, we have voting points at different points in time until we dwindle it down to the last two that we like the best, and we voted from there, that's still your right to choose. Except we be basing it on the human being, what they claim that they will implement for us. Don't forget they work for us, supposedly. That's not true, but that's the way it's written. It's up to us to enforce it. I'm just wondering when we're going to. I stopped, just for your information. I stopped marking down that I was white. I stopped marking down that I was a male. I stopped marking down a lot of that because I won't play their game anymore. And it's not because I'm not proud to be a man, because, I mean, for starters, I don't take pride in things that I had no control over. That's first and foremost. I take pride in the way I raise my children. I take pride in the way I love people. I take pride in the way I carry myself despite all that I've been through. I don't take pride in how I was born. It makes no sense. I take pride in my ancestry, yeah, but I don't take pride in the color of my skin because it's irrelevant. I don't take pride in the genitalia that I was born with because it's irrelevant. Do you understand? It's all on purpose. It's all by design. And the more you keep subscribing to it out of filthy pride and ego, the more things remain the same. And the more things remain the same, the worse they're going to get. Every generation, we say it can't possibly get any worse, but it does somehow, doesn't it? Every couple years, we say, well, that was craziness. I'm glad to be out of that. We'll never go through something like that again, but then we do. If I was a prophet and I would have told you after 9/11 that in the year 2020, the world was going to come to a halt, that we were all going to be sitting in our houses, minding our own business, and we were going to see the NBA get canceled, you'd say, man, you're crazy. There's so much money in that. There's no way they're just going to cancel the NBA. Oh, we watched it though, didn't we? We saw it happen. But I bet you after 9/11, when the dust settled and we got blinded from the wars that were happening, they didn't show us that on TV, yeah? They didn't show us all the murder, all the death, all the innocent children that died. They didn't show us all that, did they? So we could just ignore it. After how long did it take? Are they going to bomb this building that I'm in? Are they going to, once that wore off, business as usual, right? And that happens over and over and over and over and over and over. So I'm really just dropping this video to first of all, reassure the people that think this way, that see the truth, that see the lies, the people that get visions, the people that hear things, the people that feel it. I'm here to reassure you. But more importantly, I'm here to try to encourage the people who are getting that whisper in the back of their mind and their conscious. The people that are getting that little bird in their ear that's saying like, man, this is all bullshit. I'm dumb for falling for this. Ain't no shame in being wrong. Being wrong is how you learn. Being wrong is how you grow. We were all born the same. We all had to learn. We all had to grow. And your environment and your teachers have a lot to do with how that process takes place and what the result is. But see, the funny thing is, nobody ever tells us once we become an adult, we have the right to scrap all of that and start new. We have the right to go out and learn for ourselves. We have the right to research for ourselves. And the reason why I'm stuck on the kids from the late 80s, 90s, and up is because we were the first generation that saw a computer come into our homes. We were the first generation that got access to this knowledge that we're holding in our hands every day. We were the first generation to be able to pair that with what we were being taught in school. So for the ones like me who went home and got on that computer and looked stuff up for themselves and researched for themselves, you understand the importance and the power that it holds. You understand the importance and the power of learning for yourselves and being your own best teacher, your own best doctor. self-sufficient. So what I'm asking people is just that. Leave that media shit alone. It's not good for you. It's another divide. You see on social media all the time, people that ain't spoken 10, 20 years. Just because they're on social media on the same platform and they got access to each other on social media, they hate each other. Or how you hate somebody you don't know. And I've always said, if I ain't spoke to you, because, we're supposed to change. We're supposed to evolve as we grow. Your growth and your learning is infinity. It's lifelong. So I've always said, if I ain't spoken to you in a year, 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, 5 years, 10 years, 15 years, we probably don't know each other no more. But somehow, because of these apps, people can hate people that they don't even know. And the world is ran by public opinion. It's not ran by facts and truth. Got to stop falling for it. And I'm learning new things every day because I want to learn. I want to know. And you guys are more than welcome. I welcome education. I welcome the power of collaborating with my fellow man and woman. That's the problem. I say all the time, like back in the day, our parents and grandparents had different political beliefs. They didn't hate each other over it. I don't recall. As a matter of fact, they rarely even talked about it. A lot of people actually kept it a secret who they voted for. You remember being taught that in school? Don't show your vote. Hide your vote. You remember that? That got lost, didn't it? You want to know why? Ego. The access. And we sign all our rights away when we use these things. You have no constitutional rights. I got news for you. It's not worth the paper it was written on. And if you need me to convince you of that, then again, I urge you to read real cases, real stories. They're miles high. You could read for your rest of your life and you wouldn't read them all, where injustice is done, where people's rights are violated and the courts uphold the violation of their rights. They support the violation of your rights because, again, it's control. Just like prison reform, that's all lies too. Prison ain't there to reform. It's there to hold prisoner. It's there to institutionalize. It's another form of control, much like we're seeing the school system become today. That's why a lot of parents are homeschooling their kids now. And this video is not about shame. I'm not shaming nobody. We're all humans. I'm not perfect at all, far from it. So this has nothing to do with shame. This has nothing to do with being a know-it-all. There's people out here who know plenty. But that's what I'm talking about the ego for. It doesn't serve you. It hurts you. It hinders you. It blocks you. And if people only knew how good they could feel once they start to do shadow work, once they start to let go, once they confess their sins to the God of your understanding and to a living, breathing human being, you can release it. You can forgive yourself. You can heal. You can move on. And once you do, you can tap into things that I'm not even going to try to tell you because you won't believe me. And we're all born with it. And that's why all this stuff is in place to strip us from it, because it's something that the government doesn't know how to control themselves. They don't know how to control it themselves. That's why they spent all that time and money researching it and running CIA programs over top of it, because they know. And I'm going to just ask you something before we go further, because if you could trust what they say, why are they releasing stuff to us now that they told us was a lie back in the day? Why are they releasing stuff to us now that if you or I would have said it back in the day, they'd have locked us up in a nut house somewhere? And they still try it too. They still do it. I had an episode myself, and the first thing they told me was, we could take you against your will. They let me know that right out the rip. And I'm like, damn, that's a little dramatic, don't you think? It's a little extreme, don't you think? That sounds like a place on the other side of the water where they were, I won't get into that. I'll probably get banned if I do. But it happens here all the time, and we just act like we live in a free country when we do not. You have the freedom to die and live, and that's it. You don't have any freedom. It's the illusion of freedom, just like it's the illusion of choice. And if you want true freedom, if you want real choice, you have to fight for it. You have to stand up for it. And it's like I said about the peaceful protesting. It's Black History Month. I was teaching my kids about Martin Luther King Jr. the other day, and I was teaching them the significance of it. A lot of people probably told him that his peaceful protest didn't matter. But it did, didn't it? It changed things, didn't it? It got him killed, didn't it? And who do you think killed him? Just like all that, they lie about that too. But then later on, they release it to us, and we just act like it's okay because we already knew. We already had a hunch. That's how they do it. It's like a slow leak. If you hear water dripping in your house for a while, drip, 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 and you ignore it, you ignore it, you ignore it. You know it's there, but you ignore it because what are you going to do about it? You don't feel like doing nothing about it. You ain't got the money to pay for it, whatever. So then when it finally goes up, you're not surprised. You're kind of numb to it already. It's grooming. This is political grooming. This is grooming for control. That's all it is. And it's no wonder why we got all these files getting released, because that's their whole game. That's what they do. It's all indoctrination, brainwashing, and control, so they can keep the money, they can keep the power, they can stay in power, because they know the power that we hold, and they're afraid of it. We act so afraid of them, but they're terrified of us. And the moment that we wake up, the moment that we come together for real, black, white, brown, yellow, green, if the aliens come, gray, whatever you think they look like, if we all stand together, they have no power. What they going to do? And much like I told you about how the game has changed, peaceful protest, why you can't peacefully protest anymore. And this comes from a source. Like I said, I don't just say things. This comes from a source. Someone told me back when Trump ran the first time and there was protesting, and post-COVID 2020, 2021, somebody told me, they say, when people go out and protest, people come, officials, I'll leave it at that, come to purposely incite violence. That's their whole job. So think about that. And that's coming from inside source. That's not just some guy with a hunch again. But that's part of the problem too, because every time somebody comes along and says something, we're so quick to discredit them. And where does that come from? It comes from ego. And if we could admit it, we could change it. But people are so afraid to admit it that they're just being egotistical. No, you can't have the answer. I want to have the answer. Who cares who has the answer? It would be a blessing that we had one, because clearly we didn't have the answer. And up to this point, it seems to me like we still don't have the answer. And what I mean by the game has changed as far as protesting and peaceful protest is concerned is because we're holding it in our hands right now. How easy would it be to organize a mass protest right now? How easy would it be? And this is just me talking from my own opinion. But in my opinion, during 2020, they gave us the blueprint. They literally handed us the blueprint. I don't know if they did it on purpose. I don't know. I'm not going to pretend to know. But I do know that they gave us the blueprint on how to protest peacefully and not have violence incited to deface or devalue the protest, to undermine the protest. They gave us the blueprint, guys. What do you think would happen, just for fun? What do you think would happen if we organized a mass shelter in place? What do you think would happen? They're going to come start dragging us out our homes to take us to work? They're going to come drag us out of our homes and make us go buy shit? They're going to come bust down our door and slam us on the ground and take our hand and make us order stuff off Amazon? That'd be kind of hard to explain, wouldn't it? That would take the veil completely off if they did that, right? But what would happen to all the business interests, all the billionaires? How much money do you think they lose per day? Just the thought. So the longer we act powerless, the longer we stay stuck in the past, racism, sexist ideology, man versus woman, generation versus generation. I forgot to mention that because that's just ridiculous to me too. How long are we going to stay stuck on that? Right versus left, the most exhausting, tired, played out one of them all. The dumbest one, actually, in my opinion. Sorry if I offend people, but not really, because it's a big problem. I don't know if you guys haven't noticed or not, but don't none of them do what they actually say. They never keep their promises, and things continuously get worse. Has anybody been to the doctors lately? What that experience is like? I'm in my late 30s now, mid-late 30s now. And I vividly can recall the same talking points every single election. Healthcare, schools, money, businesses. We're going to fix them all. When? And if you guys were so good at your job, how come you don't have new talking points? You would think that if you guys were good at your job, you'd have different things to talk about and run your campaigns off of, correct? So I would say it's a fair assessment that you're not good at your jobs, and how long are we going to let you keep having them? Because if you were good at your jobs, the same things wouldn't keep being talked about. They would be solved. They would be improved upon, but they're not. Because then what do we need them for? How do they make their money if they fix everything that makes them money? How do they keep control if they fix everything that keeps them in control, right? So I'm not telling you what to do. I'm not telling you what to think. I'm just giving you something to think about, and that's pretty much it. Take what you need, drop what you don't, or don't take anything at all. But it doesn't change the outcomes that we're all witnessing. It doesn't change the pain, strife, and stress that we're all under. It doesn't change the tension that's in every room we all walk into that we can all mostly feel. Never used to be like that. I don't know if you guys can slow down, take 2 deep breaths, and go back and remember. Didn't used to be like that. Just because things look and appear a certain kind of way, it don't mean they actually are. And I won't get into my story because that's not what this video is about. But if you guys could unplug and break away for just a while and then come back to it, you'll see exactly what I'm talking about. Things have not gotten better. They've gotten worse. And to me, that's a problem. And it's frustrating as one of the ones who knew about these things in the past a long time ago. It's frustrating for all the people who have been telling people these things for years and years and years. It's frustrating to see new platformers, and I'm not talking about people like us. I'm talking about the ones that's got all the money and all the followers. Talk about things like it's some new discovery. It's so insulting. Especially when they leave out most of the information, or they still cling to their beliefs that goes completely against what they're trying to expose. So it's just something to think about. I'm not telling you what to think. I'm not telling you who to pray to. I'm not telling you what to believe. I'm just trying to give you things to think about. And my hopes and prayers are that we make these changes that are necessary and long overdue for the sake of all our children that we're trying to raise in this jacked up world. And there's a lot bigger things at play here that we don't fully understand. And if we can't get the basics right, it's going to cost us everything. And I'm just asking people to not be so selfish, to think about their children. Think about their children's children if they want to have them. What are you leaving behind? And I ain't talking about your house or your cars. I'm talking about what world are you leaving behind? And just to show you that things are linear, my grandfather told me before he passed, he told me he felt sorry for me. And it's like, I don't know about y'all's people, but my grandfathers are kind of hard nosed, you know what I mean? They don't they're not into things like that. They're not into saying stuff like that. So the fact it actually floored me when he said, "I feel sorry for your generation." And the first thing you think, and this is what's funny about it, is you think to yourself like, "Oh, you're being a smartass," right? Like, because you think we're all, hoodlums, you know what I mean? But it wasn't that at all. Like, because his tone didn't match it. So it's like, what do you mean? And he's like, the world is going crazy. He's like, I feel sorry for your generation. I don't know how you guys are going to afford to do anything. I don't know how you guys are going to live any kind of a peaceful life. So again, you're not crazy. All you people out there who are seeing it and afraid to say certain things because it makes you feel weird inside, man, don't worry about it, because you're not going crazy. You're not the only one who sees it. You're not the only one who feels it. You're not the only one who knows it. You're not the only one. It's lots of us. But instead of influencing the divide, we need to for the first time ever in history, influence unity. No matter what you look like, no matter who you pray to, no matter what you're into in your adult life, no matter your past, no matter your history, no matter who your people were, no matter who your family was, just unite for the greater good, for the future that we all deserve and want. And it's not really about money. It's about freedom and peace. And so many people subscribe to capitalism, which is all well and fine, until they put a corner on our necessities. Capitalism has no business meddling with our needs. For example, this joint right here. If you want to charge me $50 for this, so be it. So be it. But if you want to charge me $50 for an apple, and then you tell me I can't plant apple trees, I have a problem with that. That's not capitalism. That's slavery. That's control. That's oppression. So just think about it like that. Because this isn't about, I want a yacht, I deserve a yacht because they got a yacht. Come on now. That's ego. That's shallow. That's not what I'm about. Because who cares? Something else my grandfather always said was, how much do you really need? And every time he do it, he look around nature. How much do you really need? I don't need nothing. And there's a lot of peace, truth, and maturity in that statement. So just think about what I'm saying. Let the seed be planted. And then keep watching what you're watching. Keep doing what you're doing. And maybe slowly, if you haven't already, you'll start to wake up to the actual reality that they're trying to distract you from. And maybe you'll see the flaws in the system that's implemented. Because again, it's not your fault. The right, left, the black, white, all that shit. It's not your fault. It was designed that way. But it is your fault once you start to see it and you double down. Once you start to see it and you reach for it at the last second and hold it real tight. Then you become accountable. So that's all I got for you on this one, but it is what it is. If you found this useful, keep it close. Just keep it up here, because that's how it works.